I know where he lives.
Right.
It's a fine kettle of fish you got me into.
I know, so I don't dare show my face around. What's happening? I'm
We
good.
had to cancel the meeting. We didn't have a quorum today. First time I think that's ever happened.
Got my arm up. Yeah,
What those
it's doing
things
better.
Are you quick?
Yes.
I'm Ann Burrows.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks
Yeah.
for responding.
Good, yeah.
Because I thought, well, I
Oh,
know
that's
that's
something.
something, he says, we're not, for so long, and I thought.
No, I get it.
Learn
Well, and then I.
Learn about.
I don't have enough strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, when my wife
It
did
goes
the
real
rest
fast
of
when
it,
you-
you were manager. I don't know.
Lucas was just around. Why we didn't address the water main back in.
You can't have a voice.
95 when it was all.
Was it just not old enough?
Wow.
Well, in 95, when they
Oh,
did,
that's it, but
there was a whole lot of different standards as far
I
as
see with a snow blower covered in
fire
snow.
protection and
I
supply
gotta go put my
regulations
earrings
and things like
Oh,
that.
I went a little
So it would have been in.
Oh, I don't know about, I mean, I was thinking about you belong on the island in the south. Raise the whole thing in the winter time. I know you can do that.
Water system and things.
Well,
like
the
that.
trouble with the pipes and all of that.
Right, and
Okay.
it basically it's to replace an undersized water main.
Okay.
And they replaced part of the water main from Judd to mid-block between Judd and Ingalls, but that's because that was a 1-inch water main that was feeding 3 homes.
Okay.
We,
Yeah.
we used to.
So, yeah.
I just wondered
Standards
if it was-
changed.
Yeah, I had taken pictures of the,
Yeah, I saw some.
did you? Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And what I didn't like is, and I mentioned, and I mentioned to Fred Cooter, but I think they raised the street level a bit, and I'm
Just to
on
get out of the
the
weather.
south,
Yeah, I never
yeah,
thought
the
it'd
south
say
side
that.
of Third Street. And
Walking
so,
Harry 4 times
the
a day,
pitch,
no matter what the
you
weather
know,
is.
going down.
They should
even
reconsider.
more so, and so they asphalted everybody's aprons, so.
Some of it, yeah.
All of us except
Are you,
you
you're
guys
still on
next
the.
door to me, 'cause they, when they did their new house, they raised the curb level, so they're straight. And I've got an old wooden floor garage, so I did have gravel and grass. And that was good, because it absorbed the water and the ice, but then they asphalted it, so now,
The efforts of JD.
yeah,
I
so
said, I'm not,
I
I
hope they
told him, I
don't
said, this smells
raise,
just like.
raise
you
that
talking
more,
about."
but anyway, yeah,
Anyway.
so,
We'll talk about that here soon.
good, okay.
Moses, where you want me to sit?
Right here. Yeah.
How are you?
I
I know, you still know who you are, even though you haven't. I see you
Nice to meet you.
doing
I know you know.
Hey,
that
I know her.
I'm sure she'll be bugging us the whole time.
Yeah. Right by
one.
the.
Paying her extra duty.
I know.
I had I got an expertise from Joe too, just to.
Work on a quota system.
My math. Oh, good.
So like I said, kind of good weather.
Yeah. What hours are you?
Oh, yeah, you can.
I just think so.
Usually we're
Dylan, you guys.
7, well, I mean, I guess it depends what kind of, how our progress is running,
And we,
but 7 to 6. Try not to, you know, usually we very rarely put in more than 12, and we try to do that. Children less we have.
Okay, that's kind of part of what our code anyway. So.
Nice.
The situation with the Coke.
Yeah, they're not like Sperling's where I have to burst into tears to say I'm going home at 8 o'clock at night.
All right, everyone. Sorry to interrupt you, Bill. We're here. We do have a few people attending via Zoom. Hopefully Tina, Cece, and Tim Fletcher, you can hear us all right. Here we have, well, now I know the Rockowitz. I just met Ann right now, so thanks. Thanks for coming, guys. Mary with Benchmark. So she's going to be kind of overseeing the project on the engineering side of things. Josh with Tri-County. He's the project manager.
Probably, yeah, they'll probably fall in my lap.
Everyone probably knows.
I'll probably be there most of the time also.
All right, cool. Everyone knows Lucas, DPW director. So this project is really, I'll just do a very basic overview. I mean, the real intention of this project is to replace our 4-inch water main and upgrade that to 8-inch water main, if I'm correct with that. That water main is about 100 years old. And then the secondary part of this really is to add storm sewer so that residents on Third Street can connect to that storm sewer. We've had some issues with some residents having some flooding or ponding issues, right?
Depending on the water levels.
Yeah, so they'll have that ability. So that's the real main purpose of this project. I know Ann had mentioned earlier that we did a project there in 1995. Then we replaced the sanitary sewer, but we didn't upgrade the water at that time because the state, there's different state standards now in 2000, to pass in 2006, 2007. And where the state says you must meet these new standards for water. So that's why we didn't do that back in 1995 and are doing it now. So of course, with that comes a repaving of the road, et cetera. So I don't know if I want to, Lucas, if you want to add anything more to.
I think we're good unless people have questions.
The project would be a spring project. So we're looking at tentatively right now, starting in mid-April, depending on the weather, ending mid to late May, depending on depending on the weather. There would be certain periods of time where certain sections of the street would be closed, I imagine.
Yeah.
Josh?
And generally, that's just gonna be while we're working. We always, unless there's extenuating circumstances, we always try and make sure everybody has a path back to their home at the end of every day. So unless there's something that specifically isn't directly in front of your driveway or something like that, that's gonna have to be left open for the night, you're gonna be able to get home when we're done, if not for the majority of the time. Well, you will be able to for the majority of the time. There's gonna be very limited times when you won't be able to access it, and I'm sure Mary will let you know, if we see cars parked in there or something like that, we'll come up. She'll come up, probably knock on doors and say, hey, we're gonna be going in front of you and get out now. So if you need to get out, a lot of times we'll blow right by you and they'll be backfilled by the time you need to go anywhere. So, but we always try to maintain as much access as possible.
So we are shooting for 6 weeks, 6-week project of roughly, takes 6 weeks, but again, that's weather dependent.
Yeah, that's gonna be especially, starting April.
And it is running from just, as you see here on the screen, just west of Ingalls, all the way to Main Street where it curves into Main Street. On Nelson Street, yeah.
That answered.
Well, no, it's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I will probably, y'all know the area, I'll zoom out, but. Go back to the overview. So Main Street, Nelson, right here, all the way up to approximately, I think, right here, like the third house in on Main Street. I'm sorry, on Third Street, Main Street. So Mary or Lucas, anything to add?
No, I just to let you know that I will be out there 75 to 80% of the time that the project is there. If you have any problems day to day or just want to come out and chat or have questions about the work or have issues with the work, it's easiest to talk to me and I can make sure it gets done and we can get things worked out. And just any questions, don't be sitting there wondering what's going to happen. Just go ahead, come out and ask me and I'll be out there. So please feel free.
And we're not changing anything with like aprons or anything like that, like not with the street. It's going to go back the way it was, right? Correct.
Essentially back the way it was. It sounds like there may be a few materials that are different going from pavement to concrete. I can double check that. If you have any questions about your individual property, we can take a look at that right, after the meeting or whatever. And yeah,
Okay,
but no changes, yeah.
as far as the road goes. Okay. If there's nothing else from our end, I guess we'll open up to questions from anyone in person or on Zoom. Ann?
Well, I I think you answered my question, but I wasn't sure what the little arrow, does this go all the way down to the base of Judd Hill or not that far down Third Street?
It doesn't go all the way. It goes about halfway from Ingalls to Judd.
Like halfway into the 400 block?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
or right about here, yeah.
It's about Lindsay's house.
Let's see. I think-
Lindsley's house is the last one.
Ah, very good.
Yep.
Is that, that's what I thought.
Anyone on Zoom have any questions? Yeah, Tina?
I have a question.
Oh, I think we can't hear you there.
Let me try again. Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
No, sorry. I can see your lips moving.
We could read it.
We can read, can you want to type it in the chat function? Because
Sure. Oh, shoot.
go. So any destruction of property in this process, grass, sprinkler systems, et cetera.
It'll be put back the way it was. We'll have photos of the, you know, how it is, the project is when we get started. And then if we break it, we fix it.
That's Mary's job. Yeah, she'll take care of it. No, yeah, it'll get back.
The sprinklers, what about that, Josh?
I think he has, I didn't bid this one, so
Yeah, it's under incident.
I think he
I think
has,
so,
I think
yeah.
he has it figured in.
I think so too.
Usually we have 5H come in and do that. If it's not extensive, we'll do it ourselves, but if there's anything extensive, we usually have 5H or somebody come in and take care of it.
But grass will go back and topsoil and curbs back, everything back.
Better. It'll be better than what.
That's what we try for. It should be better, yes.
Yeah, last time they did it, they said, oh, you know, I had some big rocks out back. I don't have curb or sidewalk on my side, you know. And, oh, everything will be fine, and the plant wasn't, you know. So,
We'll probably have some more big rocks for you if you want them. I'm sure there's a bunch of them down the base of that hill.
Just don't put them in the right way.
But let me know as it's happening, because if they're out there, we can get it fixed. If they need to come back, that's more expense to the city if it needs to be fixed, if it falls under the contract. So when it's happening, just say, is this gonna be fixed? And I'll say yes, or whatever.
And from my understanding, we're sticking within the right of way, right? For the work.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so any damage to grass is the grass that's in the right of way. It's your front of your property, but it's in the right of way. So there should be no need to go.
Well, and in certain circumstances, we may, have to get a little bit on the backside of the sidewalk, something like that. But if we do any damage, yeah, we'll take care of it. We just, you guys, sure you've driven down Kalamazoo Street in Toski in the past year. We did that one last year, and that one come out a lot nicer than what it started as. And everybody was happy with that one, for the most part.
Who do you work for, Josh?
Tri-County Excavating.
They were the low bidder. Any other questions from anyone on Zoom or in person? I see we have a couple people. Oh, I guess I'm on a new chat. You said this will help with standing water. Will it help with water that accumulates in the house?
That's why we are putting an additional line in there, which would be for stormwater or groundwater. So there will be a lateral for the storm sewer that we will stub out into the right of way at each location. And then each homeowner, it would be their responsibility if they had to plumb into it, if you had a sump pump or anything like that, or if it's new construction and your basement's potentially wet, then you would plumb that groundwater to the storm that we're putting in, and you wouldn't have to get into the road to do so, we'll have it stubbed out, so everything will be out of underneath the pavement. It won't, you won't be cutting the road and repairing the road, you just have access to it. And especially for future builds or anything with basements, that would be critical.
Just thinking of O'Brien's, do the people who are basically facing Main Street but have property all the way back, can they hook into that storm sewer?
Yes.
Oh. I have a question which has nothing to do with this project, but I don't think there are any storm sewer drains on Main Street, the 500 block, are there?
That's correct. It starts, the first one is right there at Ingles. There's one on the corner radius going
Oh, yeah,
up
so
Ingles.
I know a lot of water coming down the hill. I think there's something on Nelson, maybe. But basically, I just wondered why there isn't a storm sewer on the 500 block on Main Street to catch some of that coming down the hill.
That would have been put in by the state of Michigan MDOT years ago, and when they engineered it, that's how they came up with it. It is, from what I can tell, inadequate. When we address the water main on the 500 block of Main Street, that's when we will potentially be adding more catch basins in the curb in that block.
That at least now has more slope to the, towards the west than Third Street does.
Any other questions on Zoom or in person? Oh,
When
Bill,
you did
yep.
Third Street, the 200 block, you widened it and the slope runs from north to south. Are you going to slope the section of Third Street between Ingalls and Nelson from north to south?
It will be going back the way it is, which it is very ever so slightly sloped to north to the south.
To the south.
Yes.
So an as-is rebuild of the road.
Mary, Lynn and I.
You're already muted.
511.
Put continue.
Just way at the corner of Ingles and Third.
Go down to the
Oh, I see
microphone.
right here, Ratwitz,
We live next door to that, 519. out
Okay.
To the east.
okay.
And we're thinking of building on that lot, and I've already talked to Lucas a bit about this, but since you're into the engineering, I would like to try to get, let's say, some preliminary things done to that lot and have everything underground if possible.
Okay.
You see, you need more information from me? Is all that seem plausible to you, or maybe it's already part of the project?
Let's see, do we have, it looks like we've got something going over to here.
That would
If,
be water, that'd be a water service line.
Yeah.
It's not built into this project to do the electric and communications. I have a note.
is that what he's talking about? Okay.
I have a note on the sheet over there. Josh said I'll talk to you. We will be running a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all, I think that's all the price.
Which some
Yeah, so that
or
gets-
all of that can get done at the same time?
You mean the electric and all that for the,
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
that would be up to the
Well,
contractor as far as having room, it
Is that-
usually goes.
Is that underground electric? Con's probably overhead then too.
It is.
So as far as, so the city, what the city will do is pay for basically to the edge of the right of way. And then beyond the edge of the right of way will be, that's the responsibility of the homeowner. If you want to do it now, it'd probably be the best time to do it. Yes, if you're pretty certain, that you're going to build there, because then you only got to restore it once. You only got to replace sidewalk once, you know what I mean? Because they'll be stopping at the edge of the sidewalk. I don't know if that section is getting replaced or not. I guess it really doesn't matter, because if you come back and do it, you have to take through it anyway.
Right, and it would just be placing some conduit.
Okay.
That's what the question is.
Can everything, our present house does have everything underground.
Does it?
Now, that was done while we were there and paid extra, along with a neighbor.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely something we could do.
Okay.
There's no question
So
about that.
It can be worked out then.
Yeah.
in the-
Yeah, it's not something that would generally especially since we're already there, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a bit cheaper for you and easier for the contractor too, so.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be on an individual case by case basis, exactly what we have to do. I'm not sure where the pole, is the pole run right along the side of the road there?
Yeah, on the
Kind of
corner.
staggers the.
Well, it's right on the
Yeah.
corner of,
On the
It's something we'd have to look at and probably come up with a price and, but it's something we definitely could do in conjunction with the project.
When should they let you know if that's something that they want to do for Mary, let someone know?
I mean, I theoretically, they could make the decision while we're up until when we start hooking water services up, probably,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I could get you a price before then, but right now with the snow on the ground and everything like that, it's hard to tell, and I'd rather wait till probably snow starts melting a little bit and I can see things to get a definite price.
Okay.
so if we get our thoughts together in the next few weeks and.
Yeah, you have time, you have lots of time.
Get in contact with you.
Yeah.
Okay, between the two of you.
And are you the ones that called me earlier? This, it would have been a little while ago, were they the
That
ones?
might have been you, Bill.
I never talked to
I
you.
spoke to Josh,
Okay, it was you then?
yes.
Okay, because you were talking about running new utilities all the way to the house also?
No, just running sewer. The
Oh,
problem
yeah,
is
it's just sewer.
sanitation sewer. The problem is that the Y from the house, some time ago, there was an addition put on the home. And the addition has just a 4-inch PVC.
Mhm.
And the existing home has what appears to be 2.5 pipe.
Mhm.
So where they join, there's always a problem with,
Oh, it's clogged.
and since it's not used all the time,
Yeah.
I thought this would be a great opportunity. And Josh said he wasn't sure, he'd have to look when the snow melts.
Is this why this is under your house then?
No, it's out, well, partially, it's right at the foundation wall. And inside the house, on the lower level, there's a piece of the floor that you take out, and there's a shut off, water shut off, and you can see the two connections.
Oh, okay.
So he said that he may be able to bore
Yeah,
and not have to excavate, or he might have to excavate.
yeah.
From the house out.
Right.
And that would be a good time because there is no sidewalk there. I was just talking to Mary, once the excavation and all that plumbing is done, then go ahead and finish the sidewalk. And since the sidewalk cleaner can't go anywhere, if you're gonna put a driveway in, well, then you can just go ahead and go down the driveway. Because you can't do the sidewalks on the west side of Third on the bend on Nelson.
Yes.
Because the snowplow is where they put the snow. So that those never get done. So in effect, the sidewalk doesn't get cleaned. There's nowhere to go once you get to 595. You just have to go on the street. But that's something to look at I live right here all the time.
Okay, all right.
So as soon as the snow flies, or I should say the snow goes
Stops
away,
flying, starts
flies
melting.
away. Yeah, and then you talked about, there is an irrigation system there, and 5H did put it in and maintains it,
Okay,
so they're familiar with it.
Yeah, we do.
And I don't think there's anything else.
I do have a question. I saw Emily Dubay on here, and I don't know what her question would have been, but she got off, but I don't know if their house is gonna be done. They have some construction on their house going on right there, and I don't know if
On the inside corner there?
it's, well, yeah, and so I'm
Yeah.
wondering if they're gonna finish by the spring or not, and if they're wondering about potential interference.
Not
with-
speaking for her, but contractually, they're due to finish in the fall.
Okay, so they'll be doing
They're
some,
just now putting in hardwood flooring. They have a special crew in there doing that. They can't put it in if it's too cold. They can't put it in if it's too wet.
Emily says here we should be finished by May or so she actually is online. All right, okay. Emily, I don't know if you envision any kind of, what kind of activity they'd be doing there in April and May.
well, it's probably gonna be mostly finished work.
Yeah, if there's anything on the outside,
It won't really affect them a whole lot.
yeah. The only thing I can think about, if this would be the moment for them to connect, landscape and irrigation is what they're planning on doing, so.
Oh, they're gonna be doing some landscaping and irrigation.
Yeah.
I guess
Irrigation is probably what finishing details inside, so that's one thing I can imagine is landscape would be on their
She's on-
side of things.
yeah, if they're done.
Irrigation would be the only thing that they might want to hold off on, at least on the.
They're on the inside there, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't, they don't have to hold off. I mean, it's not,
Okay,
I
I'm just talking about if there's any irrigation in the city right away.
Right. Well, that would be helpful if they did, definitely.
Yeah,
If they
okay.
waited on that for sure, but. Yeah, otherwise could get done twice.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. The other one was, that would be the time for them to connect then afterwards to the storm sewer if they wanted to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in that case, yeah, if they're gonna hook to the storm sewer, be digging across the yard anyway, then.
Yeah.
It really makes no sense to put irrigation in before that. So just be ripping it out when they do that, whoever does that.
I don't know if you heard that, Emily, but something to think about. It's about the storm sewer connecting while you guys are finishing
I
out.
think you need water.
They've got a Y coming over. If this is the property, are we talking about
Like I
here?
said, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and so we've got,
I
and
think they're
then,
fed off Main Street.
oh, okay.
But if they're gonna connect to that storm sewer, then I definitely, well, that,
For this one, okay.
They're not getting water, but there should be a dump out for storm.
yeah, there's no new walk on that side. either, is there?
No,
Okay.
So you're I'm a little bit confused there. Do your maps show the residences? I mean, there's like two being combined there, two lots were combined.
yes, yeah.
You have all of that.
Down here.
Oh, here, yeah, I don't have it
doesn't
all.
show this
Mm-mm,
house,
no.
but they're building these two together at one.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
okay.
Is that plastic sewer done?
should be 9.5.
Yeah.
Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? All right, last chance for those on Zoom to type in something. Otherwise, you know where to find me, Lucas, or else you'll find Josh and Mary at the work project, starting in April probably, weather dependent.
And I do have copies of them if anyone wants these tentative schedules,
Tentative schedules also.
if you'd like them.
I'll put one along on the website as well, but it is just tentative, so.
Just general guide.
All right, I think then we're done here.
Thank you very much.
Stuff to figure out. ahead.
Here's the-
Thanks, everyone, for joining.
For us, for local, for that
Oh.
address.
All right, good.